in its liquid form, and now here is it in the ice and the gel form. And look at that gel. You just bought your first 2-ounce bag of Chondrus Crispus Seamoss. Now what? I'm about to show you. Here's how you can turn our dried Chondrus Crispus Seamoss into gel. I start by taking a handful of the dried sea moss. A little goes a long way. You'll see why later. And I'm going to put it into a clean bowl. It's nice and crunchy. I want you to experience these textures as this whole process goes along. You're going to see the fun. So I'm going to put it into a clean bowl, and then I'm going to pour some purified water. You can use spring water, whatever water speaks to you, to rinse it. So I want to make sure that I'm getting any debris off of it. Anything I feel like doesn't need to be in the gel, that's what I want to eliminate. Sometimes you might see snails and things like that. Look at how beautiful that is. Oh my goodness. Wait until you see the process. So I just want to get rid of anything that I don't want to include in my gel. And look at how gorgeous this Chondrus Crispus Seamoss is. Really soft now. The vibrancy of the purple is really coming through. And then this is some of the stuff that I found in the water. I don't know what that is, but we're not going to include that. And then here's something else that we're not going to include. This, I think it's a snail or something. Okay, so now I am going to pour water on the freshly rinsed sea moss just to cover up the sea moss. So I'm going to still use some purified or whatever clean water speaks to you. And I'm going to let that soak for overnight. I want to start to let that sea moss get softer, and you're going to see what it's going to look like right there. Now I'm transferring it into a pot because I heat my sea moss up. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to show you why. I like for it to become more gooey. The texture starts to change. It starts to kind of stick together, and that really helps in the gelling process. So here it is on the pot. It's going to heat, not boil. Look at how silky that is. Wait until you feel it. But here you're going to see, watch while it's heating up, what it's going to start to look like. You see that? You see how it's going to start to get gooey and start to bind? That's what I want for this next step. So that's what I'm getting at. I'm now going to transfer that into a blender. Going to transfer all that into a blender because I want to cut up the pieces of sea moss so that it's not whole. So what am I going to do? I'm going to post it first, and then I'm going to blend it and until it's a consistency that I like. And I feel like you can gauge, right? This is your process too. Now I'm using an 8-ounce mason jar and a tray full of ice cubes, empty ice cube tray. I'm not going to completely cover that mason jar because I want it to breathe a little bit. So leave some air in there. I'm going to fill up my ice cube tray because the sea moss ice cubes have a longer shelf life. And that's how your sea moss in the liquid form should look. Something like that. So that's going to go in the freezer. And then I have the gel, which will go into the fridge in that jar. And this is it in its liquid form. And now here is it in the ice and the gel form. And look at that gel. Now I use my sea moss ice cubes and gel for smoothies, for soups, for putting it into my tea, and so many other ways. So look at how the gel consistency is. You can blend that right into your tea and it mixes right in, and so beautiful.